So sometimes if you're like kind of like, if you have a guess, I'd suggest dividing all of them. So 12, 24, and 30. I usually start with the smallest one and I check and see, does 12 go into 24? It does. But 12 doesn't go into 30. So 12 is not the GCF. So then I look at 12 again. 6 is the next biggest number that goes into 12. But 12 goes into 6 goes into 24 and 30. So I'm going to pull out a 6. So that's kind of my thought process through that. I know some of you guys are not great at finding factors, and that's okay. You just have to figure out a system that works for you. How many x's are common that we can pull out? Just one, because this one only has an x to the first, so does that one. Does it really matter that this one has an x squared right now? Because we can only take as much as the smallest one has. How about the y's? Yep. Yeah, what size? 0.7? Yep. Yeah. Oh, how many y's are common? One. Yeah, take what you need and then. Okay. So just one. So visually, I really like to show this. And some of you guys, when you were messing up on your exponents, I suggested you write it out that way. That way you can hopefully visually see these all as little fractions. I think it helps you until you're really good at them. I mean, I don't do that anymore, but it's kind of what I'm thinking. So 12 over 6 is 2, but those x, y's will just get to cancel. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then it's plus 4y and minus 5xy.
Yep, so 24 over 6 is 4. The x's will cancel, but the y squared over y just becomes a y. The negative 30 over 6 becomes a negative 5. But the x's and y's kind of have some stuff going on here. So x squared over x is just going to be x. Y to the fourth over y is going to be y to the third. And kind of a way to check that we did this correctly is I kind of look at all the terms, 2, 4, 5, no common factors. The x's and y's, there's no common factors. It's kind of a good way to check that you didn't miss anything. Okay? The next one's kind of a weird question, number 5. Because we haven't talked a whole lot about negatives. Oops, where'd that go? All right. So number 5 is a strange one. This is kind of setting us up for something we're going to learn in a couple days. So this negative 2y and negative 7. 2 and 7 don't have a common factor. But what do you notice is the same about them? Yeah. They're both negative. And now you might be like, well, that doesn't really matter. So careful. On number 5, we can actually pull out a negative 1 or just a negative. The reason we want to do that is typically with these types of problems, we really like when the first term is positive. That's a T there. So I'm just writing this down if you guys want to include that in your notes so you have it. We really want the first term in the parentheses to be positive. I haven't mentioned that before. It's going to be something that's going to be helpful down the road. So I really like that to be positive. So I am going to pull out that negative 1. Now just divide these each by negative 1. They just both become positive. And it probably seems very useless, but it ends up being something we use later on. All right, this next one. So 10, 8, and 2. What can go into all of them? Yeah, 2. So 2 is our common number. How many x's, how many y's? 1x, 1y. Okay, this one's a weird one too. So it doesn't seem like it, but we'll talk about what's important about this one. So 2xy, 2xy, 2xy. So divide each term. So 10 divided by 2. So 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1.
Yeah. And 2xy
just drop off the rest of the parentheses. The reason for that is because this was 3 terms. It still has to be 3 terms when we're done. So this does cancel, but it cancels to be 1, not 0. So if I'm adding, I have to include that plus 1. And that's just something that I included this one because I know that's something that's really easy to just be like, oh, it's gone, like it vanishes, but it's really important that we include it. Okay? I think we just have one more, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, this last one here. What's common among the numbers? 5. Are there any variables common? No, and that's okay. They don't always have a variable that's going to be common. So don't think you have to pull something out because it's not possible to take that 5. It's like, give me all your pesos, and like, you're like, I don't have any. You know, like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm just saying that because like dollars and pesos, they're 2 different things. It's talking about 2 different things here.
Pesos. I thought you said queso.
Pesos.
So
Give me all your peso. I actually think I prefer queso. It'd probably be more useful.
I was confused why you were asking, why you were saying.
Give me all your peso.
I was like,
So again, we do need that 1 as a placeholder. Okay? Questions there? All right. So guys, you have the rest of the time for homework. Notice, yeah, solid amount of time. And notice it is all and not odds or evens. So make sure you don't mess up. It's not really that many questions.
it's 15 questions, it's not that.
Yes.